work, but there's an opportunity waiting for you. We need you to roll up your sleeves and join our workforce. Right now, thousands of jobs are ready to be filled. Find them at jobsfortn.gov. Let's get to work, Tennessee.
I watch y'all coming here for years, because you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day, and that girl gonna be done dumped you and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Because ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
We Tennesseans all have a choice to make in our fight against COVID-19.
I choose to enjoy live music.
I choose to cheer on my team.
I choose to go out.
I choose to stay healthy.
I choose to celebrate with my family.
The choice is simple. Choose to live your life and choose to live responsibly. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
It's not about challenging times
or new normals. It's about staying true to what matters most.
And we're more committed than ever to your health.
Your safety has always been our top priority.
Times may have changed,
but they haven't changed who we are.
We're here for you every single day.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
Really good try. There aren't any cops around.
Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Let me know. You are right now?
And good morning again, and welcome to Talk Back Live in the morning. It is now 11:17, 17 minutes past the hour of 11 o'clock Central Time, and a very pleasant good morning to you on a Friday morning. Yes, a lovely, wonderful Friday morning, and starting your day off at, I don't know, what's the temperature outside? I don't know. 67, 70 degrees. Well, no, it's hotter than that, folks. It's up in the 80s. I know that. But hey, I tell you what, nonetheless, I'm not playing Weatherman today. We have a great show lined up for you today. Hot topics of discussion, news that you could use, local, national, international. And the number to call is 901-213-6020. Again, the number to call is 901-213-6020. And good morning, Josh. And we have our special guest on the line, and we're ready to talk to him. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, everybody out there watching, listening, tuning in, wherever you may be, however you may be checking us out this late morning into the afternoon. Another great one we got lined up for you today, man, on this Friday. Man, it's a Friday already. End of the week, Memorial Day weekend. So we're going to dive into that, man. Going to with our guest, as a matter of fact. So we're going to talk to him. Plus, we got some very interesting things we want to talk about in the show today as well. So you definitely want to stay tuned throughout the entire show. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But, Bob, I know we got a special guest right off top.
All right, let's get to it.
What you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do? Yeah, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you hear the music, and it's been a while. We've got our special guest on. It's always glad to have him on. If I can get a little more volume in my microphone, as always, on this special weekend, holiday weekend is coming up. He always lets us know what they're doing in the state of Tennessee to help protect us. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Sergeant Chris Richardson. Sergeant Chris, welcome to the show.
Well, good morning. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me. Happy holidays this weekend to you, Bobby and Josh.
Yeah.
Main thing is the main focus this holiday is remembering those men and women in uniform that have given the ultimate sacrifice to us to be able to live in freedom. And
yes,
it's amazing, what they've done for us anyway. But it's a national holiday. I mean, as far as everybody gets out, they see it as the first day of summer, and first weekend, and they get out and head to the lake or get with friends, whatever, and just have a big old time. We know this. We know it's a heavily traveled holiday weekend, and that's why we're out there. We want to make sure people stay safe and able to make it back home after the holiday's over, or get to where they're going. So we're going to have all hands on deck, like always, and being very proactive, making running radar, making sure people are not drinking and driving, making sure that people are off their phones, at least not holding their phones or having it on their body.
Yeah,
and we're just doing the right things, and hopefully people do the right things along with us, and more people will live this year.
Yeah. Sergeant Chris, as always, we have you on the show during the big holiday like this. How big is this holiday for the Tennessee Highway Patrol on a usual basis? You guys do your thing on this particular holiday. Maybe there's a lot of things. Summer time, a lot of drinking going on. People want to get behind the wheel, even though they've been told not to get behind the wheel after drinking, get somebody else to drive them and that type of thing. But those things do happen. People take chances. How is it? Is there any expectation or that you guys expect this time of the year on this particular holiday? And how long will this holiday weekend be as far as you guys are concerned, protecting the roads of Tennessee?
Well, through Monday for sure. So, because people are off from, they'll be cutting out starting today.
Yeah.
And going to work on Tuesday. So anytime in between, you're going to see us out there. We've just gone off of prior years. I mean, it's just this holiday here, everybody, it just seems like that's the time to go out and celebrate the summer getting here and getting back to the lake and getting out with folks and cooking out or whatever whatever their plans are. But it's even more since we didn't have anything last year. It was really stepped down, last year because of the coronavirus, and people are now getting back out. So we're maybe not anticipating a huge blowout like we've had in years past, but more people are going to be getting out this year. So we're definitely going to be out there doing our thing, because what we've seen since the coronavirus, when people stayed home more, I just was not getting out more because of the virus. Now that they've been getting out more, we're seeing more and more fatalities, and than we were before.
Yes, sir.
And so people aren't paying attention like they should. People are speeding. People are drinking and driving. People are not wearing the seatbelt.
Yeah.
On the phone. It's things that we've got to control. Nothing's changed there as far as the law and what we look for. People just need to be more aware of what's going on and know those same things that they're doing can kill them.
Definitely. And Sergeant, and this is Josh here, man. So what do you think people need to do more of to kind of prevent those things from happening? Or basically the same things that you've been talking about? Because one thing about it, what may even contribute more to bad stuff happening is you got this anxiousness to just get out again, because you got people, that haven't been out in a long time, whether it's out with their friends and family or just out, period, in the public. And with that, some people may drop their guard with some things that they should be careful about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're just losing focus is what it is. And because they're just so excited about being out again. And it's things that we need to reel them back in and put their mind back on the things that are important. And that's the driving rules while you're out. The not speeding, the not using that cell phone, or not having it in their hand, no texting, no talking on the phone if you're going to hold that phone in your hand. Of course, not drinking and driving or under the influence of any other drugs. And, by all means, wearing that seatbelt.
Sergeant Chris Richardson, is Memphis, Tennessee one of your hotspot areas? I don't know. I guess what do I mean by that? Hotspot area as far as the rest of the state. We know Memphis has a lot of crime going on, a lot of things that are going on that's not going on in the rest of like Nashville and other areas, even though they're major cities. But Memphis has a big problem in that. Is there a bigger focus on an area like Shelby County, Memphis, Tennessee area?
Oh, absolutely. Shelby County, it's the biggest city in the state of Tennessee. So per capita perspective, it could be worse. But there's times where it gets even worse than that. Right this very second in Shelby County, we're not just crashes. We're talking about fatalities. We're talking about lives lost. As of today, we're 9 over where we were this time last year.
Wow.
9 fatalities over. And it's all happening in the city. It's all, and we're not talking about just Memphis. What I have to look at, what they send us out, it's either in the rural area or urban area, which you've got several urban areas in Shelby County, not just Memphis, but I can go ahead and tell you that the majority of them is happening in Memphis.
Yeah.
And we're 15 over where we were last year at this time in the urban area.
So that means your focus is not just going to be in just Shelby County, but a heavy focus in the city of Memphis.
Oh yeah, we'll have people out there in the city also.
Yeah.
And so real quick, I'm seeing here also, with Mississippi, Louisiana, and Tennessee state police partnering for the holidays. Kind of talk about what's that all about, or that partnership.
That is that actually involves I-55. That was something that I-55 runs Louisiana to Tennessee, and we got on board with those troopers in those states about enforcing the rules and really tightening down in theirs on I-55. That's, even though we have some 55, I-40 is our major interstate. Of course, we see times on that. When we have our I-40 challenge, we do it with everybody, every state that touches I-40. So from time to time, especially during big times, big holidays or things like that, like we do the I-40 challenge around Thanksgiving, during the travel times of Thanksgiving. This is one that we're going to do during the Memorial Day holiday, because we're especially Mississippi. That's a major interstate through Mississippi. They see a lot of crashes, a lot of fatalities through the holiday period on I-55.
Yes, sir.
And so we partnered with them on this particular enforcement effort right here.
Yeah. We're talking to Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Sergeant Chris Richardson, as always, it's been an honor to have you on our show. And look, one last thing, or some couple of things that you have to leave with us today, as far as you guys protecting our roadways in the state of Tennessee this weekend, this Memorial Day weekend.
Just realize that we're going to be out there, and like we always are, but especially during these holidays, when before you start thinking vacation, make sure that you realize that we're going to be out there and we're going to be enforcing the rule. Our main thing is, do we like writing tickets? No, we don't enjoy it. It's not like we get anything extra for it. It's just our job.
Yeah.
Our main focus is to keep people safe.
Right.
And if we stop somebody and give them a ticket, it may be, of course, we're trying to keep them safe, the driver, but also the other people on the roadway that they come in contact with. We're trying to keep everybody safe.
Right.
And so, again, it's a necessary thing that we do, and many people may not like it. And they don't enjoy getting a ticket, but we don't enjoy giving them. So if the person behind the wheel will just act right and follow the rules, they'll just, the most you'll see out of us is a smile and wave.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sergeant Chris Richardson, the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Hey, man, it's been an honor to have you on today. And we're always glad to have you on our show. And thanks for all the information. And thanks for you guys doing what you do to take care of us and the roadways of Tennessee.
Thank you very much. I hope y'all have a great holiday weekend.
All right, man. Bring me some of that barbecue.
Wow, that's why would I do that when I come to your house?
Sergeant Chris Richardson.
I know, right? He's thinking about our Facebook post. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. Huh?
I said you'd laugh at mine.
Okay. Sergeant Chris,
thank you. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
All right. There it is.
Yeah, he's been over to the house a couple times. But he had never seen us on the grill though, has he?
No.
Okay, well. Yeah. All right. That was Sergeant Chris Richardson, Tennessee Highway Patrol. And Josh, we've got other things to talk about. Man, do we have some good topic to talk about. It is Memorial Day. Am I right? It is Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, we got several holidays. You got Labor Day, Memorial Day, and
all that stuff's later.
And my day and all that. Anyway,
yeah.
Hey, we're gonna take a small commercial break here, and when we come back, oh my goodness, do we have a good topic that's burning my ears? And we're gonna talk about that and some other things coming up. Memphis Grizzlies are still in action as well.
I think it's tonight. Yeah.
Tonight. We'll talk about that as well later on. And but we've got some hot topics coming up, folks. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Talkback Live with Bob
and Josh.
And we're on the Talkback Live radio network. Stick around. 901-213-6020 is the number to call to join the conversation.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of their body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or a device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good drive. There aren't any cops around.
Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Rub your hands for me, okay? You are right now? Now.
I watch y'all coming here for years, cause you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day, and that girl gonna be done dumped you and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Cause ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
All right, and welcome back to the show, Talk Back Live with Bob.
And Josh.
And 901-213-6020 is the number to call to talk with us. And, to talk with us today. And if you have an opinion on what we're talking about. Again, I want to thank Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol as being our guest in a few minutes earlier on the show, and I want to again thank him for being our guest.
Yeah.
All right, 901-213-6020. Josh, they can join us on Facebook Live or on Twitter or on the Spreaker app. That's SPREAKER. If they can't join us on Facebook, tell them Spreaker app is available. Free download on your mobile devices, computers, and other areas. And SPREAKER, and then search Talk Back Live.
Yeah, and also, like you said, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
YouTube
as well. Want to get some of y'all to the YouTube channel, man, and go subscribe to that as well. That's the fairly newest of the platforms, so y'all check that out.
All right, indeed. Yes, indeed. Check us out there. All right, yeah, another topic we want to talk about today.
Yes. Well, you know what?
That officer interrogation, Josh.
Let me introduce that. So here's the thing. Can you imagine? Let's just think about it, right? You're in the front yard or in the yard of your home, and a police officer
supposedly your home.
Well, if it's you, it's your home. But regardless, and getting all that when you see the video.
Yeah.
And an officer approaches. Well, I'll just not using you or me as an example. Let's just say in general exactly what happened. So the police approached a man that was walking in a yard in a neighborhood. This is a residential neighborhood, nice neighborhood.
Right.
And it's a black man at his house. walking around, and the officer confronts him and says, "Hey, man, what are you doing here? Is this your house?" So essentially, that's where the question arises about police conduct. The police conduct when being involved with an officer, and police conduct when the officer is being involved with the public as well. So I'm gonna let the video speak for itself, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it.
Okay. Let's take a look at the video. And folks, is this harassment by the police department? Or is it just somebody just being disobedient to the law and don't want to listen to nobody? And listen to the conversation as well. Does he really live there? Or can you tell? Take a listen to this. Take a look at it if you're viewing. And we'll be back.
Sorry. I said you were on the front porch here, and then I just saw you walking around the side of the house. And in the backyard, I just checked in to make sure that everything was okay.
Yeah, everything okay.
Okay. Is this your house?
Well, why you ask me that? I mean, what?
Because, you're walking around in the gate, and you still haven't gone in the house. Do you have any ID on you?
Yeah, I do. I have ID.
Okay. Can I get your ID, please?
No, you ain't gonna get my ID, man. What's wrong with you, man?
108, would you start me another unit so we can use my ID?
What I'm gonna give you my ID for?
118, can I get you out to 849?
Because I don't know whose house this is.
I won't be at nobody's house. So you think I'm just gonna be at somebody's house walking around their house? That's what you think. I'm just gonna be. Why you think I'm walking around somebody's house? Why you think that?
I saw you walk around the house.
I know, but why?
What I do is just verify what you're doing here. If everything's legit, I'll get out of the way.
It's legit.
Okay, so what you doing here?
What I'm doing here? What are you saying? What I'm doing here? I can't be right here. I stay here. Okay, what you want? I stay here.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, come on, man. You know I got to stay here. I won't be walking around or doing this. That man just cut my yard. You don't see that? I can't walk around and see that my yard. You see that man? You just saw that guy.
Yeah. I saw the guy leaving.
Okay, so you know what's going on. Come on, man.
But I don't know whose house this is.
So if you see anybody walking or standing at their house, you gonna stop me and say who house it is?
If somebody's standing around the front door like that for a good while,
a good while. What are you saying? A good while?
I am.
What are you saying? A good while? What are you saying? A good while?
All I'm doing is just checking to see if everything's okay. If this is your house, that's good. I was just checking on it.
I said it's my house. What you want me to do? What? I don't supposed to be here? You saying I don't supposed to be in this house? That's what you saying? It's a problem with you. What? I don't supposed to be right here. That's what you saying?
What's that?
You saying it's a problem with me being right here in front of my house? That's what you saying?
Absolutely not. I'm just trying to verify.
I said I stay here. So what else do you want me to do? I'm not gonna.
That's all I'm trying to find out.
Do I stay with her? Come on, man.
Okay.
Look, I'm black, she black. So that ought to tell you I stay here. Come on, man. Be for real. Come, let's get real. I'm black, she black. So that tell you I stay here. No, you gotta tell her. Don't tell them nothing.
That's all I'm trying to find out.
You know I stay. I'm stay here.
Somebody walking around the side of the house.
What? And you saw that guy cutting the grass, and you didn't stop him. You didn't see that guy just cutting the grass. You didn't stop him. Okay, but why you didn't stop him? Why you didn't stop the guy that was just in his white truck, sir? Why you didn't stop the guy that was in the truck a while ago?
He wasn't messing around the side of the house.
He wasn't messing around the side of the house, but he was right here. You didn't stop him. What do you want? I don't understand this.
If this is your house,
it's my house. I'm telling you, this is my house. What you want me to do? What do you want me to do? This is my house, man.
I'm asking for some ID.
Some ID? Because to stay at my house, I got to show you my ID to be in front of my house.
I don't know this is your house.
I got to show you my ID to be in front of my house.
And in the backyard.
This is my house. What are you talking about?
Sir.
No, you talking to me right here. No, we can step right here.
I'm just asking. Step over here.
No, I'm calm down, man. We can talk right here. What we have to run for? I mean, I don't
know. I just show it to you.
Okay.
So I don't know what this officer's saying.
He saw me standing right here, and I walked to the back. What you doing walking to the back? What you doing? I can't walk in my house. What the hell going on? What is going on, bro?
Can we see your ID just a bit?
No. You're not gonna see my ID. I stay here. What the hell is going on?
That's what we just asked.
I stay here. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't have to say I stay here. What else do you want me to do? Hey, they saying I don't stay here. Look at this house, y'all. They saying I don't stay here because the house is nice. I got a nice house. They say I don't stay here. Hey, they say I don't stay here.
Wow, man. I mean, did this go to the extreme or what? I mean, first of all, I don't know what you think, but first of all, what was this guy's situation? I mean, what was this guy's problem? I mean, some people may say, what do you mean his problem? I mean, you've seen roaming around a house in a neighborhood and you never going in the house. The officer, or does the officer have the right to question you? And is the officer looking out for the betterment of our community? If the officer saw somebody walking in front of your house and they weren't going in the house, so evidently they probably didn't have a key to the gate or to the house. So he was wondering, do you want the officer to pull over and ask somebody a question if they see somebody just roaming and not going in the house? Or is the officer wrong by just letting people just roam in the yard and not going through the gate or going in the house, like they can't get in and like they don't belong there? So, I mean, did the officer go too far? Did he show, was it harassment? Did he show racism? Or was this just a situation to where an officer just did his job? Did an officer just do his job? And did you mind him asking this guy? Or if you didn't mind him asking this guy and you think it was racism, why? Was it because the guy was black? I mean, come on. We have enough trouble in our neighborhood with each other. So, I would, if I'm walking around my house and I'm not going in the house and I'm looking around the gate, I'm looking around the door and everything, if the officer pulls over and says, hey, I need to see your ID, or, you walking around the house like this is, I was curious. Do you think it would be wrong for me to tell the officer, I don't have to show you my ID because I know I'm on my own property? Well, the officer don't know that. The officer doesn't know that. So I would cooperate with the officer even though I'm on my own property. I would give him my ID and let the situation go over. I mean, this guy wasted more time dealing with these officers, and he wasn't through dealing with them because the video was cut off. So I don't know how long this went on, but to me, it was unnecessary. The officers came to me to ask a question out of concern. And sometimes we as black people, we always want to think that the police is after us. They only approached this guy because he was black. Do you think that they would have done this if this was a white guy?
No.
Walking around and wandering? Or is this one of those situations that you'll never know because officers may do things, all according to that particular officer?
Well, let me throw this out there.
Yeah.
Couple of things. One, in my humble opinion, no, they would not have confronted a white man in this situation. I don't think so.
Why not? Why do you think that?
Because we've seen too many times situations like this. To me, the most unnecessary thing about this situation, in my opinion, is the officer even confronting this man to begin with. You don't see a real problem. Here's the thing, and this is some things I've been listening to the video a few times, and it was some things even just in this that I didn't even notice in a couple of times before the show.
Yeah.
One, the black man's pointing out that it's his house and he was out there because of the lawn service that had just left. He wasn't talking about the lawn service leaving another yard. He was talking about them leaving their yard.
Right.
So I would assume that's the reason why he's out there walking around, because the lawn service had just left. So usually, if they're leaving a backyard or you have a fence, which I'm looking at this nice house, you'd imagine they have a fenced in yard.
Yeah.
He's probably making sure the gates are locked, checking around to see if they did the job that they're supposed to do. Next thing is, I just find it hard to believe in any other situation with a guy that's not black that they're going out of their way to come up to this man and ask him, what is he doing? It makes no sense. Now, if you see a disturbance, I get it. If you see something in progress, now I know the police can hide behind this veil of suspicious activity, and I guess you can assume that's always there's always something they can use, right? Suspicious activity. They can, an officer to me can almost assume anything is suspicious activity. And it's going to be hard to argue with them against it, right? If they consider something suspicious, it's almost based upon interpretation. So it's hard for somebody to argue against it. You know what I mean?
Well, is the officer wrong?
I think it's 100% wrong.
Okay.
My opinion.
Call from.
Get your popcorn. Okay, welcome to the show. Good afternoon, or still good morning.
Yes, sir.
On a Friday morning. What's your opinion? What's going on? Good morning.
Y'all already know who it is.
Okay. Good morning to you, sir.
What's up, brother?
Good morning. Good morning. Let's get all the intros out the way, okay? And give the people time to get their popcorn ready. I already got in here late, and plus I wanted to call because I see Jet trying to call in with some of his reparation talk. Okay?
Yeah, I see he has commented. What's the number?
Okay.
Yeah, talking about what's the number, man. If you're a follower of the show, you know the number is 213-6020. Bob says it all day long, okay?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. But did you come on here to criticize and jump on Jet for that? I mean, this is not the time or the place to jump on listeners and callers of this show.
Well, that's all good, man. I mean, just don't cue up his song once he does get in. We want reparations. And, this is not this. It's Memorial Day weekend. So I don't even understand. What is we talking about? Why do we want to talk about, racism on Memorial Day weekend? Okay?
You can talk about racism any day.
Come on, man. Okay, we trying to remember some people. Play some Shirley Caesar. I remember Mama, or something like that. This is not the time to be talking about a black man trying to stunt. That's all that was.
Now you're trying to tell somebody. Now you're trying to tell us how to run our show.
Now,
I mean,
real quick. Now you
I
brought
would
up.
never do that, Bob. Me and you are actually on the same side today.
Okay.
Look here, man. Okay. Police officer was just riding by. He's cruising the neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He didn't expect to ride around there and all of a sudden there's some black guy just walking on the side of the house looking suspicious.
What?
Okay? So he gets out of his squad car, nicely approaches this brother, says, hey, I'm just trying to find out some things here. He didn't know if that was his culprit pulling off and going to take some of the stuff they had got already to the house and then double back. You know how we do it.
Yeah.
You know how the criminals do it. They like to come back. They don't never just get one whop and, they take it to somewhere, stash it, and come back. They know you're going to be at work all day.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's just be 100. So he gets out of his car. He goes over here. He says, "Good afternoon, my brethren." You know how they talk.
Man,
I just would, I was cruising through and do you live here? I'm trying to find out what's going on. You're on the side of the house. As we do. The brother can't never just say, yeah, I live here.
Yeah.
I heard you, Josh, talking about he said he lived there immediately. He didn't. He kind of wanted to have a little standoff himself.
Yeah.
We know what times we living in.
Yeah.
We know.
Well, okay, now
you got the video out there. Your wife standing back there with the video.
Yeah.
It's perfect timing in the world now for us to have, racial confrontation, especially when it involves police officers.
But okay, GKP, let me ask you this. Now, it may or may not be some stunting going on. That was a thought in my mind too, because he kind of, prolonged it a little bit. But here's my thought. Okay, let's just put yourself in this situation. Okay, out in the dirty Dover, at the GKP compound, and they come up to you. They roll up on you and say, "Hey, man, you too black to be here. We know y'all don't cut your yard, so this can't be your house." So basically, what would you do?
Is that what you saw there, or did you see an officer with concern about?
I don't believe that concern stuff. I just don't. I don't buy it. That's just me.
Well, listen. When I look at the makeup of the cop, okay, he's not just your youngest cop in the world.
No, he's an old white dude.
Looks more like old Otis. You know what I'm saying? The criminal. Old Otis, but he's just, a Caucasian type Otis.
Yeah.
Or what's my man on Andy Griffith? He's more
Barney Five.
Barney Five.
Barney Five. Okay, yeah, that. He's more was like the Barney Five type. He wasn't trying to, he knew he couldn't tussle with him. He knows what's up. But he just wanted to ask a few questions. He was in a little shock and awe, of course, because of the size of the home and things like that,
Yeah.
So,
but what's that his business?
He was just trying to check on the brother. That's all.
Why didn't the man go about his business? It ain't got nothing to do. You don't see the man breaking no windows. You don't see him climbing up the side of the house.
Not yet.
Or anything like that.
Yeah, there you go. But he did see somebody pulling off. He didn't know that was just, like my yard guy, Raul, comes through, and take care of business out there. And then, I go out and look. So, of course, it's possible. But if they had rolled up on me, Josh, it'd have been a different story. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the times when people roll up on me, once I say, y'all already know who it is, they pull off. You know what I'm saying? Everything's all good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I'm.
But I'm just and two.
Let me ask you this: would you have, if the officer had asked for your identification, do you think he would have been wrong asking you for your identification? And would you have presented it?
Oh, Bob, I would have given it to him with no problem.
No problem.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's no problem. I am who I say I am. My address is right there on the ID. He'd have been gone about his way, Bob.
He'd have been gone about his way. I wouldn't have had nothing to hide.
Oh, they're going to hate me for this one, Bob.
Oh, I see
in a lot of trouble with all the bros in the street today, but I had to ride with you, because, it's Friday, and what else can I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's Friday. You ain't got no job. Or nothing. Well, I'm just playing.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Just because I'm a black entrepreneur Negro, don't get mad at me. Because I have learned to let my gift make room for me, Joshua.
There you go.
Okay.
Y'all know that's from a movie.
Don't hate on me, brother. I punched clocks many a years.
Yeah.
But back in 2010, thanks to goodness of the Most High, he said, "Look here, son, you take your gift, and I'll make room." And that's what I've been doing, brother. Okay.
Amen.
Bless
I have, had my name, on a few clocks and documents, So don't do me like that now, Josh. Don't do that to the people.
Oh no,
right.
I'm not with you, brother.
I just disagree. I don't see anything wrong with what the cop did there. I know we got some other people see a problem with this guy running his mouth off and all this other kind of stuff when he should have just presented his ID and the whole thing would have been over with. I mean, he
wanted to stun a little bit. He know what's going on. The person behind the phone, we got to quit that. Like I said, we got to quit that, people.
And
Everything is not about race.
And then we're wondering why these Negroes are getting beat up by the police.
No.
See,
that's not true. You can't do that regardless.
Whoa, I don't know that I'd have went that far with it.
No. Listen to this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say now. If this guy hadn't taken it this far, a lot of times people take it too far, and then they end up in a confrontation with the police over an ID when it should have been. The guy could have presented his ID and would have been over with. Was he
for whatever reason we believe?
Was he trying to hide the fact that he might have a warrant for his arrest? Or
well, maybe. You know what I'm saying? People don't want people all up in their business.
Yeah,
it could be, but he also was at his home. He knew that.
Yeah.
So he stood his ground at his castle. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? The cop, they understood that the guy obviously lived there if he was going to stand out there and act a fool like that.
Yeah.
They got themselves 15 minutes of fame, and now everybody's talking about it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But none of us going to have that big house he's in. He has it. He's done it. Okay.
All right.
It's just what it is.
Okay. Y'all already know who it is.
All right. Well, y'all thank me for joining the show, and I'll let somebody else get in. And Frankie, yes, we shouldn't have to prove. We're tired of proving that we can afford good cars and good houses. We are.
Okay. Yeah,
but some of us that got good cars and good houses just don't do good things to get them. Okay. Let me leave that with you.
Okay.
On this Friday.
Okay.
Okay. And that's what comes up with the question sometimes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Go finish marinating your ribs. Hey, thanks.
Hey, man. Thanks for the call, too. Happy Memorial Day weekend to y'all. Okay. And I saw Ricky Floyd up in here.
Yeah.
What's good, Ricky?
Yes,
Pretty
sir.
Ricky, what they calling. Okay. Y'all already know who it is.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, brother. Appreciate
Thanks for the call. All right, 901-213-6020. Yeah.
And he's getting to some of the comments I was wanting to get to there.
Yeah.
But man, so shout out to Ricky
and
Floyd.
People were calling earlier. We missed your call.
It's open.
Mine is open now.
All
you can call us at 901-213-6020.
All right, go ahead. See if it's
okay. All right, that didn't go through. That call didn't come all the way through there. So,
all right, we'll just keep it rolling.
Right.
But yeah, but now real quick,
yeah,
and the numbers on the screen there as well, and in the comments for people that want to know. Frankie just put a comment. What if his ID did not have that address? Maybe he had not had a chance to get it changed. Is what she says.
Well, that's true, and I know that situation can happen to anybody. But if it didn't have that particular address, I mean, maybe was the guy trying to hide from a warrant or something?
Oh, man.
The reason he didn't want to prove. What's the struggle over presenting your ID?
Well, here's
the guy wanted to know. The officer wanted to know: are you who you say you are?
But here's the thing: one, why are you coming to me and asking me? But that doesn't make any sense.
If you don't have anything going on with you or warrants for your arrest,
call from Bailey Parks Urethane Inc.
All right.
Welcome to the show. Good morning or afternoon now on a Friday.
And I know this is Jet, but I need your identification before we go any further.
Y'all already know who it ain't.
I love it.
Okay, but I need your ID, sir. I need your ID.
This is Jet. And what's up, Ricky Floyd for tuning in. What's up? This is a conversation I think kind of can continue on what he and I have been discussing all morning anyway. Something like it. It falls in line with this same thing.
Okay.
That's why I tagged him and I want him to listen to this because I knew we would end up in this type of conversation just based on the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be short. I ain't gonna be no co-host like my partner. I ain't gonna lay off on the phone with no co-host.
Wasn't it terrible?
But I just want to say, I just want us to get anchored. And okay, now who did something wrong? based on legality, based on law, and based on the information we have. Who did something wrong? Who did something wrong? Then we go from there. Now, if you say anything else other than the cop did something wrong, then you're saying it's okay for them to be out of line to start with, and then for the end in your death. That's what we're saying here, right? Because if he acted within the law, then he was within the law, and the guy was wrong. But you got to show me where he was within the law, because wasn't no crime being committed.
Nope.
Wasn't nothing going other than his own suspicions. Why was he suspicious of that? Why? Right? Why was he suspicious of a man walking around? And then if I see the lawn truck leaving, I'm thinking he is inspecting his yard. That's what I would think. If you think anything else, why do you think something else?
Okay,
why do you think the lawn man stealing lawn equipment?
But doesn't the officer have a right to think something else, though, other than just...
he can think whatever he wants to. He got to follow the rules and regulations that his job details, because you can be a racist and be a police officer.
True.
But you can't act like one.
Yes.
You can't act like one. That's when you get outside the job description. That's when you get in trouble.
So you're saying this guy acted like a racist. This officer acted like a racist, just asking the guy a question. He was suspicious about 100%. The guy walking around and not going in the house, not opening a gate.
It's his lawn.
Even though he says it's his lawn, I understand that. But do I know it's his lawn?
You ain't got to know, Bob. Okay. I don't know if I pass you in the yard. I ain't got to know if it's your yard or not. You ain't got to know. If you suspicious, you sit and observe. You can't go up to somebody because you suspicious.
But you're not the law. Being committed. You're not the law. I'm not the law. I don't have a right to pull up in somebody's yard and say,
even if I was the law, just because somebody had to call the police and say they observed something, then I got to go check it out. That didn't happen. And you just suspicious, then you sit and observe and wait till you see something that's chargeable, right? How many times you call the police on somebody, you say, that person over there cussed me out, and they say, well, I really can't charge them with nothing, sir, because such and such. So they do a job then. They do it right then.
Yep.
But it's when they own in their own personal feelings. And the police get in this, they start this stuff all the time, because when they realize they're wrong and they acted off their own impulses, they don't want to back down. Right, so they have to see it through, and then that's when the problems start, because you feel like you can't say, "Oh, my bad, I appreciate you. Go ahead," and you leave, or you're trying to avoid a lawsuit or something. So you have to see it through. You have to make him commit a crime to justify the whole action. Then, but no, it's time out for it. Like Frances said, I mean, man, when you were a slave, you had to show your papers. You had to show you had a right to be where you were when you were, and that somebody gave you the right to do so. You shouldn't have to do that for no reason now. It's just not. It's time out for that. And I don't think he was just being boastful because he was being recorded, because we've seen that we can still die. At the end of that recording, that doesn't save your life because somebody got a cell phone.
Definitely,
we've seen that you can still die and the cops can still get off from it. It depends on how the physical altercation starts. Even if he was wrong for the stop, if it starts physical the wrong way, the cops can kill you and still get off.
Okay,
recorded.
And that was my concern. And I think to Bob's point now, on that end.
Well, for me, I can't be concerned about that because I can't let that scare me into being a slave.
No, I get that, but
I cannot.
I think this is where you come into one thing versus the other. Now, despite the fact that I think the officer, to me, has zero right to be there, and zero cause to be there, and literally doesn't make any sense. Then he's calling for backup, which already shows his prejudice. He saw a quickie call for backup.
Okay, why?
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Why did he call for backup?
I know, but I get it. But let me finish what I'm saying. Okay. He called because he was scared because it's a black man. So I'll just say that first of all.
Yeah,
because there's literally no other reason. He's not being threatened, and the guy's not.
The dude just said he wasn't going to show him his ID.
Okay, but I'm going another direction though.
Okay.
I'm going another direction.
Okay, go ahead, John.
But despite all that,
yes, sir.
And I do feel that if there was a white man doing it, he wouldn't have called for no backup because he didn't see a threat. But regardless, I would have given him my ID.
Okay.
That's just me.
Why?
Because I wouldn't want to go through the whole thing. Okay. Now, when I see other people that do these things, I do look at it and say, I just wouldn't do it because I know the climate of the day and time we're living in. And regardless of whether it's right or not, I shouldn't have to go through that. As a black man, I should not have to go through that. But at the same time, I know how these things can go. I want to be there for my family and everything else. And I don't want to give this racist cop, which I still do believe, a reason. And it's not a real reason, but it could be a reason to him. And that's almost all that matters when he's the one with a gun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not an excuse, it's a reason.
Yeah. So that's all I'm just saying. And I know that's basically what Bob's saying too.
And I agree with you 100% on that. And I'll tell you this. More than likely, I would have shown him mine too. But probably with the climate of everything today, after feeling the humiliation of having to do that, he probably would end up having to kill me because that would have just set me off even more. I would have done it instinctively, but afterward it would have pissed me off royally. Right?
Oh, definitely.
GKP used the word castle. And your castle got to be like anybody else's castle. It's got to be respected. So you can't be respected in the same way. You're still in the slave cabin when master would come and grab your wife for a few minutes, and you couldn't do nothing about it. If he could just come to you in your castle and treat you any kind of way and make you have to prove you belong in your castle, come on.
It is a shame.
That's humiliating. That's humiliating. That's awful. And if you keep doing it to save your own life, it keeps happening. It keeps happening, and you never get to be a whole man in this country. You're always 3/5 again because they can treat you like they don't treat everybody. Your castle ain't the same castle as everybody else's, and that don't fly. Because nowadays you pay the same cost for the castle as everybody else, right?
Yeah. And look,
or more.
And here's the thing,
or more. Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. With properties and all that stuff. But just thinking about it, man, I get your point. To me, life is still more valuable than anything else in these type of situations.
Then you get into the of Dr. King said, you rather die standing up than live on your knees.
I get that, but it is.
That's not hyperbole either. That gets real if that happens to you more than one time.
I get that.
And then you see it all the time. Yeah.
And as a black man, I get it. But I guess my only thing is you live to at least fight what's going on. Because to me, it's almost a fruitless fight what this is. You get what I'm saying? What exactly is going to happen? Because you're not going to win the argument. Unfortunately, unless the next cop that comes is either a black cop that can understand the situation or another white cop that says, hey, just chill out, which sometimes that happens, but as you saw, the other cop that came, the other cop came and said, hey man, we just want to see your ID without any real reason, then,
and two,
I just don't see anything.
And now after seeing this and having this discussion, I won't. I mean, originally, without it being in the forefront of my mind, instinctively I would have, like I said, got pissed. But now, after having this discussion and thinking it through and listening to Josh say the reason why you should and how it's going to be fruitless, I just think I would. I just think we have to see what happens because it just can't keep rolling like that.
Yeah,
and it would mean something to some people. It would the change is slow, but it would be. You see the things on the heels of George Floyd. Things that are happening.
Yeah, but
Jet, still, and it's ridiculous. Jet, somebody got to die for it.
Jet, what good are you gonna do dead because of that situation?
What good did all those rebellious slaves do dead? Something, because freedom came.
Yeah. Okay. So you look at this like one of those situations which a person disobeying the law, the police officer here.
You just said it like it's the same thing. Person disobeying the law. You ain't disobeying the law. It was even slavery was actually the law. In this case, he's not even breaking the law. When you fought against slavery, you were breaking the law actually. But this person wasn't even breaking the law. You're free now.
Yeah. Well.
So how much more fight does that demand then? Because they still treat me like you gained. People died and fought and already died.
Yeah, I guess
you're not willing to suffer a little bit for it.
I guess the point is, if person is, well, he gave his life, because he wanted to stand up for what is right, and he rebelled against the police officers and all that stuff. So hooray, hooray! We're gonna remember him for that.
I'm gonna put it this way.
What good is he doing dead because of rebelling against the police officer?
Well,
what good is he gonna do us now?
Let me put it this way. Just because I get what both of y'all are saying. Here's my thing. I'm like this. To me, it depends on the way the deaths happens. Like, let's look at powerful impacts, and they're all wrong, by the way, and it shouldn't even have to come to this. Like when you look at the Trayvon Martins, the Michael Browns, the man that was choked out, Fernando Castillo, who literally
George Floyd,
was following police orders and got shot and killed.
Exactly.
With George Floyd getting arrested, and things like that, I feel like are different than arguing in front of your house in a situation.
It's worse. I think it's in front of your house. You shouldn't even be in that smoke.
But how do you
know for a traffic stop is different.
Who says it's his house?
He did. Who said it was?
Okay,
where is his house?
The homeowners didn't come out.
They
and say
should.
it was.
What made the officer challenge this situation in the beginning? What made the officer challenge this situation? Here
because
you have a
walking
guy
around inspecting his yard.
He's walking around. Well,
doing what you should be able to do.
Say he's walking.
Everybody
around,
does that.
He's walking around inspecting his yard. Let's say I'm walking around inspecting my yard. Officer pulls up. Sir, do you have any ID or do you
that
live
just
here?
Crazy
Or
right
just
there,
wondering.
And it sounds nuts.
No. If he comes, I say yes, officer. I live here. And all that kind of. So. My thing is cooperate with the officer. He asked, "Okay, you got any ID on you?"
He did. He said, "I live here."
But when he asked for the ID, the guy went all out in left field somewhere. Was there something wrong with this officer when he asked to see the guy's identification? No, absolutely not. There was nothing wrong with that question from the officer to ask for his identification.
It actually was. If you even look at their policy and procedure, there was something wrong with it. He had no right. He had no reason to do that.
Well,
let me ask you this, Bob. Let me give Bob one question. Let me ask you this, Bob. If you saw, with everything going on in Clinton, if you saw the police officers with a young black male in the back of the car, he had him in the back of the car, he's just doing his job, writing his tickets or whatever, and you walk up to that officer and ask him this. Why is he in the back of the car and to show him his ID? How you think that would go? Is it okay for you to do that? Or is it just not because he's an officer? Well, you have a right to suspiciously think the officer is doing something wrong to this black guy, right? Do you get to do that? No, you don't. You don't get to do that. That's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. And it doesn't work like that for the officer either. You can't start a fight and claim self-defense.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem, Jed, and I don't think
that was starting a fight though. Go ahead, but that's your opinion.
The only problem I got is, again, from what I've heard officers say, and this is probably what you shouldn't go by, but nonetheless, from what I've heard officers say, is that they can ask you for your ID if they deem a circumstance necessary for it. And right. I think that can be a problem in the way it's written, because you can't really contest that, because it's all a matter of interpretation of the officer.
Yes, you can. See, that comes down to how much money you got and how good of a defense you can afford.
Well, that's always.
I don't think. Yeah, but Jet, I don't think that's necessary to get into a situation like that over an identification. Over an identification, if you have no problem, you don't have anything going on in your life that's crooked. Hey man, I'd be glad to give you, even though I know this is my place, even though I know I'm correct, I don't have anything to worry about. If I don't have anything to worry about, I don't mind presenting my ID to you at all. But if there's a problem with people, then I think there's a lot of times This is why they rebel and wonder what's going on and don't want to present their ID.
I don't, because of the way I feel about it.
We need to teach young black men in a lot of situations. The officers are expecting young black men or black men, period. Police officers are expecting us to rebel. And they know traditionally that's what black men do. And they're expecting that to happen. We need to change the course and train our young men how to present themselves in situations like this so they don't end up in a situation. We know sometimes situations still are going to happen, but don't let it happen. Don't let it happen because of the young black man or the black man not knowing what to do and how to present himself and how to talk to authorities in the right way. That's all I'm saying.
And let me say this, and I'm going to show you how you and Josh agree with me.
Yes, sir.
But we just have different lines. We draw lines at different places, right? Yeah. Y'all agree with me. Y'all do. Even GKP agree with me because while you say that's okay and you'll show your ID. What if you had your front door open and you in your front room dancing to some music on your record? He come to your door inside your house and ask you for your ID, see if you got a right to be there. Would you show him your ID then?
Well, that's nuts. And they're both nuts, to be honest.
See, in my driveway, walking around my house is just as nuts to me. We just draw lines different.
Well, it is your property.
I mean, if I'm in my house already, this is why the officer stopped the guy, because the guy
you break it in. What's the difference from you being broken in and you trying to break it in?
The guy made no attempt to go inside the house. Neither did he make an attempt to go through the gate. And this is why the officer's suspicion rose
but
up.
Based on how long?
But if I'm in,
how long?
But I'm inside of my house already. If he's inside of the house, and then that's totally different. Standing around, roaming
who's
around,
trying to break into a house while somebody else is outside in the yard in their truck, they're ready to leave.
Yeah. Well,
who's doing that?
But that was where the difference between what me and Bob says, mainly that is I don't see, there was zero reason, at least in my opinion, for the cop to even approach the situation.
It didn't look like somebody was stealing. Even them talking, I didn't see it, but I'm talking about it doesn't describe like somebody was breaking in.
Imagine a lawn service
in the
leaving.
Daylight, in the daytime, in the neighborhood, and that's just, you have no right to think that.
Imagine a lawn service leaving, but just real quick, imagine a lawn service leaving.
Yeah.
They just finished cutting the grass. The police, I would hope, was at least watching long enough to know the lawn service was there. Because if he didn't, that means he was watching for 2 seconds.
He really, right?
He came up because they just left. So if he saw the lawn service there and saw them cutting the yard and the black man was out there the whole time, then why is he coming up now? Do you think the lawn service just let the black man walk up through the yard? And it's like, oh, well, this is normal.
Well,
I mean, come on now. It's just bogus. The officer, I cannot buy.
The lawn service is going to see people walking around the house while they're doing the lawn. You think they're going to question the people? No, they're there to just do the lawn.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but they're not just going to let the dude get all in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of crazy.
Okay. All right. I think we just lost Jet there. Okay, Jet, hey, we appreciate the call, man, and comments. Good stuff.
Yes.
901-213-6020 if you'd like to.
Quite a few comments, too, by the way. That came in since the phone call started here. Shout out to Ricky Floyd for sharing the video. Definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
As well. I'm sure he's watching as well. Pastor Pursuit of God Church in Memphis.
Yes.
Let's see which one I want to start with. We got let's see, GKP says there will be repercussions and not reparations in these situations for Jet. He also says, let's see, I'd rather grab my ID than eventually having them grabbing me.
Thank you.
In his opinion.
Yeah.
Andre Becton, shout out to you, sir. He says, but you have the right to say that you're not showing your ID. And he also says, hate is what made the officer do everything that he did. Now,
why? Well, my question is this, Andre: why not show your ID? I mean, follow peace with all men. That's what the Bible says. whether you know, I don't, you know, whether some people believe in the Bible or not, you know, follow peace with all men. And if showing your ID sometimes would de-escalate the situation, you know, and even though we already know what can happen in situations like this with black men, why do we allow this situation to mount to build to such a level to where it goes somewhere else and then we end up in a struggle or possibly dead? Yeah, just follow peace with all men. If they ask for your ID, you know they're the police officers. Hey, you know, what's the big deal in identifying who you are? I mean, I don't get the point here. I don't get it. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with identifying yourself unless there's something you have to hide.
Here's what I say, and I get that point totally.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, and I get this too. Not saying I would do it, but I get where Andre Becton and guys like him and Jet and other people are coming from in this sense.
Yeah.
When you feel like an injustice is happening to you,
mm-hmm.
you have a choice to respond in a couple of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think you just have to determine the safety of how you respond.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it's almost like if you think about Dr. King, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the whole reason why he took the approach he did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
With the nonviolent actions. And I'm not saying this is not even close to violent what this man was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But in a strategy sense, because he took on the establishment without crossing a certain line that he felt would get people hurt, even though at that time it still got people hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. As a black man, the shame about it to me, the biggest thing of all of this
mm-hmm.
is you shouldn't even have to go through that.
You should.
Well, and as this, to me, I feel more for this dude
mm-hmm.
in that aspect. Because I literally feel, and again, my opinion,
mm-hmm.
that he shouldn't even have to go through that right there.
I agree.
Because imagine, you're doing the simplest of things. You think you live your life a certain way. You don't commit any crimes. You have a nice house and a family. And you feel like you've done everything the right way. And you still come across a situation like this
mm-hmm.
where you could end up in danger for literally doing something that is your right. Mm-hmm. Because technically and literally, you know, it is your right to refuse identification. But with the way the police are, it's usually dangerous to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it goes back to what I'm saying. You have a right, but at the same time, do you need to go that way?
Y'all already know who it is.
Welcome to the show. Good afternoon on a Friday.
All right, man. It's time for my rebuttal. Since reparations Jet Mobile dropped, let me go ahead and close this thing on out the right way.
Okay.
Okay. We got to stop making heroes out of people that's really not these black heroes that we try to make them.
Okay.
Okay. It's too many innocent and black people that done died at the hands of the police and things like that
mm-hmm.
we sometimes diminish, and we don't know how to prioritize and really separate these things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This brother was just somebody that was out here, you know, all he had to do, like Bob said, was go ahead and show the ID. You know, you got your ID. You living in a house like this. You're out here with your wife, family. Okay, we not finna make no hero out of you.
mm-hmm.
No T-shirt, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got people like Eric Gardner out here that was just choked in right on video in broad daylight and killed. Okay.
Yeah.
We got Freddie Gray. People like these people that, you know what I'm saying, have really died at the hands of law enforcement that was really heinous and that were real reasons to so-called stand up or get up or raise more awareness. I'm tired of us raising awareness to these people who are just start trying to become Facebook and social media celebrities and things like that. This ain't no game out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This ain't no game. Okay, the only way you fix broken fences at the end of the day, you can't fix them with broken pieces, as I just put there. And the broken pieces is what's making these young black men be so rebellious, be so in a retaliative state of mind every time. You know what I'm saying? Because they already got their guard up because of what adults and people that constantly push these things that, you know, have happened to us, true indeed. But at some point in time, when do we move on? When do we try to reestablish or really rebuild and renew relations? Okay? If something happens at your house right now, if you get sick or 30 thugs run up on you, you ain't finna call Ghostbusters. You finna call 911. Quit all the F12 and all of this. If your car get in an accident on the street, if somebody rob you at the grocery store, you ain't finna call Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call?
Police.
Now, okay, who you expect to come and see about you?
The police.
But we want to run around with this narrative we creating that, you know, just hate the police or this, that, and that. I ain't no fan of racial injustice or when they really do something that they ain't got no business doing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm black and I'm proud, but I'm also sick and tired of us keep just trying to program a narrative of things that, you know, certain people have went through. True enough. But most of us that build these narratives and that want these things to constantly be put in our people's minds are people who ain't been through nothing. You ain't never picked no cotton. Ain't nobody beat you with no whip. Ain't nobody sprayed you with no fire hose. Ain't nobody sick no dogs on you. So we gotta be 100 about some of these things that we want to highlight and magnify that don't even deserve that. When there are people out here that are really dying and really deserve more awareness, more of the media attention that we don't give. So that's where I stand on that, on the real. You know what I mean? It's all fun and games, but at the end of the day, I ain't making no celebrities out of these people who stunning.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I get that.
That's it.
Absolutely. Hey, we appreciate the call.
Good stuff, man.
Y'all already know who it is.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good Memorial Day. All right. 901-213-6020. And we got a little bit left in the show.
Couple more comments here if I can.
Yeah.
Let's see. Robert Lee is coming to the building.
Robert.
He says, that's right, Bob. He says, stop trying to be a Black Panther in public. Is what he's saying about the guy that was speaking. Frankie says, if I'm in my yard, I am not going in the house to get my ID. I would go in and lock the door and then post the video.
Oh.
Hey, I get that. Now, you know, if the guy didn't leave his ID in the house, you know, I don't know. That's interesting. But she says, I'm not going to stay there and argue with him or them.
Yeah.
Robert Lee says, you see, you still have white people that believe Black people shouldn't live around them. And he's also agreeing with GKP saying, speak, with the exclamation marks. Leon Mapstone says, where's Carl? And Jed says, that's their job. What's that got to do with anything? As far as what GKP is saying. Now, here's the one thing I will say, and it's just my opinion. People handle stuff again in different ways. My opinion again, I keep saying my opinion because I know there's different perspectives on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say, you know, what I'm saying is absolute fact. So I'm just my opinion. I think the guy was clearly an injustice being put upon him. Now, I don't agree with the way he did it, but I don't know if I could say he's stunting. It could be possible now. I'm not going to say it's not. Because we've seen that before. We've seen guys almost try to create situations to make themselves a social media star or something to go viral. And that can happen. But guess what? In this particular situation, the officer wouldn't have gave him a chance to go viral if he didn't step up on his yard for no reason and ask him for his ID for no reason. So can we legitimately say that he's trying to be a social media superstar if he wouldn't have even done this if the officer didn't step to him in the first place? That's all I'm saying. Now, we can argue about whether he handled it right or wrong. I get that. But who was wrong first? And just like we talk about a lot of times, and Bob has said this in the past, in a certain perspective, when a wrong is done, it creates more wrong. And it's a chain of effects, not just with you, but with other people. And to me, it goes both ways. When a criminal does something wrong, the police are called, the police come, you get what I'm saying? And causes a confrontation, and you never know where that could go. For the officer, unfortunately, and for the criminal.
Does the officer cause the confrontation, or how does the confrontation even start?
To me, the confrontation is
when the person, if the officer is asking a question, should the person just respond in the appropriate manner?
I know, and that's what I'm saying. That could be debatable. I get what you're saying. And he probably could have handled it differently. Don't get me wrong. But again, the first wrong is committed to me. And I could be wrong. But the first wrong that's committed in my mind is when the officer, for no real reason, asks a man in his own front yard for his identification.
Okay.
And at that point, it's up to that man to see what route he wants to go.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
He put the onus on him, which it shouldn't have been in the first place. That man then has to decide between two things. One, should I, what some people say, look like a punk? Not saying he is. I'm not saying that at all. But some people say he'd be a punk, or he's giving in to the system by giving him his ID and just trying to end the situation. Or should I stay and fight for my rights and put this out here publicly to let people know what's going on? So again, there's several ways to look at things. But I'm just letting you know, I'm not completely disagreeing with anybody. But that's just my thoughts. Now, last thing here, I know we got to go. Frankie says, when is enough enough? Says GKP, I don't hate the police. I have a child who is an officer. You are stating that we are presenting narratives, and I believe the officer had a narrative in mind when he approached the homeowner. That's what I'm saying. I agree. GKP responds, says, they most of the time always have an agenda, Frankie. But that's why we sometimes have to adjust ours for the betterment of walking away and not being rolled away. That's a very interesting point right there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what GKP is saying, sometimes we have to adjust our reaction to live, which is kind of what we've been talking about.
Yeah, and some people, they gave their life for the reason why would you want to give your life for something that situations where you should have just simply followed peace with the officer? He asked for your ID. You don't have any problems. You don't have any warrants, or you have your ID. What's the problem in presenting your identification? So this is a situation that can be ongoing between blacks and police officers in this country. If for a long time, if we don't teach young black men how they should present themselves
in order to live. And that's kind of the main
because
point.
Young black men, you can't accomplish anything dead. Well, the police officer would be wrong if he did it, but yet he may be wrong, but you're dead.
And then depending on the circumstances, he might not even face any punishment.
He may not face any punishment.
And then what are you left with?
The grave. Or either heaven or hell. One of the two.
And again, this is not trying to cape or stick up for officers here. This is just
absolutely not.
Really trying to save our own lives.
This is something that we're trying to do to teach our people and young black men and black men, period, how to save your life. This is what this is all about. It's not trying to just, about giving in. We're not supposed to give in to anybody. We've had enough of people pushing us around and all this. But yeah, you got to think wise. Wisdom is the principal thing. It's the principal thing. Be wise in what you do and think about before you act or say something that could harm you in the future, or if you're not careful, it could harm you immediately. A few minutes left in the show, and does this crime in the black community?
Well, hey,
yeah.
Now that's all it is. No,
That's another whole topic. We'll wait till another time to get to that. But hey, I don't believe this officer.
And I think you kind of left on a good note with your last.
I don't think this officer did anything wrong here. If he had wrong intentions, the fact of the matter is he asked for identification. If he had suspicion in his heart, he was right to ask for identification. If somebody's walking around on my property and the officer sees it, I thank the officer for being suspicious and asking the person for identification. So, and that way the officer knows, okay, what's going on, they can double check. And I think the officer was doing his job. We need to stop. We need to stop and thinking about the fact that every time something's done to challenge a black person, that is racism. No, we have to abide by the law. We have to abide by the law. Just because you're black, and black people had struggles back in the day, and slavery and all of that, we understand all of that. But because of that, it doesn't get you off today.
Well, and again, like I say, that's one thing I do think the officer was wrong in this situation because he didn't break the law. But regardless, I think the main point is, at least in this thing, it's just how you respond to it. You didn't do nothing wrong. You're in your own front yard. Yeah. An officer wants to come up to a black man in his own front yard is utterly nuts. But
you notice what happened. You notice what happened. Yeah. As soon as that black guy started rebelling, what happened?
Well, I mean,
what happened?
Well, the guy called for backup.
Backup. See, there you go. He opened the door for all of these other officers to be pulling up on his property and in his yard and asking the question. The other officers and people that are responding, they're not responding because the guy is on his own property. They're responding to the fact that this officer and their fellow officer had to call for backup. So they're on guard thinking that something is terribly gone wrong here in order for this officer to call for backup. So they're responding to their friend, the officer that's, their partner in force.
And look, and
they're responding to him to help him.
And now here's the thing. Here's another thing to that. Because I know we keep saying we gotta go. But I gotta say this. Another thing. To the officers responding, you need to assess the situation when you get there. Yeah. Because otherwise you're just acting like a bunch of gang members. Just to finish. Otherwise, you're just acting like a bunch of gang members jumping on somebody when you don't know the situation.
Yeah.
Call from Bailey Parks Urethane, Inc. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Welcome to the show. Good afternoon.
Well, it's y'all fault for not leaving. I tried to let y'all know.
Yeah, what's up, man? It's all good. And real quick, man, real quick. I'm going to just throw this out there. The officer started the wrong. Don't walk up in my yard. I didn't do nothing. You started it. So, again, he started the process. I cannot say, just in good faith, in my opinion, that this dude started the ripple effect when the officer did the wrong first. So many of these situations, when the officer did the wrong first, then it causes a reaction. You know what I mean? When the officer's not abiding by what he should abide by, that's going to make the general public, whether he's white or black.
But let me say this too, Josh. Let me say this to you, Bob, and Robert. I see Robert on here agreeing, and GKP. Let me say this to y'all too. We are anchored in this conversation as if the homeowner actually did something wrong too. He never did anything wrong.
Well,
never.
You know what,
you may not do that. You may not like the tone he used, but he never did anything wrong in his own yard.
He didn't break the law.
Yeah.
Okay, Jet, you believe this is his yard?
Of course, until somebody showed me otherwise. Why not? What was strange about that? He had a woman standing there recording.
The officer pulled up. The officer, why do you think he asked why did
you think the officer a whole lot of benefit of the doubt here?
Okay, no.
Honestly.
No, listen. Do you think that officer believed that was his house?
Of course not.
Not initially, but the reason he didn't is a problem, right? He had no reason not to believe that. But once he realized after the guy first answered his question, started talking to him, but he just wasn't willing to bear down. He was pissed at the guy's attitude at that point.
Exactly.
So he caused all that. That was his fault.
And here's the thing: if I'm the officer, if I'm a white man named Billy Joe, rolling up there,
or Barney Fife,
or whatever, and I roll up and. And my racist blood boils up, and the Confederate flag on my window. I just said I got to do something, so I roll up and
he's talking today.
I roll up and I say, "Hey, Nick, man, how you doing?" And then I'm just saying, even if I'm a racist cop and coming up there, and I see a woman come out the house and saying, "What are you doing?" I hear her in the background, arguing the point that the man is saying. That alone should tell me if I and my stupid self don't want to get in trouble and be like these other people that are on the news, I need to probably move on. But
even if you leave and then a crime does happen in the house, you got a legitimate reason why you believe that was their house, and you had no reason to believe it wasn't.
Because a woman
you can't get in trouble.
Came out of the house arguing in favor of the man that's standing out there.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, guys, this is why officers do not like responding to what we call domestic situations.
This ain't even a domestic situation.
I know it, but see, here you have a woman and a man, they're agreeing in the situation.
Because it's their house.
It's their house. And
okay. Answer the question, why would he respond to this? Which wasn't even nobody called him.
Well, I mean, the officer, that's why officers patrol. That's called patrolling.
Yes.
Yeah, he should have kept patrolling to see if something was wrong. But he hopped out of there, jumped the gun, and went all cowboy, and then didn't want to admit he was wrong. And that's what happened there. He should have kept. He should have observed.
He was playing. He was playing that tape of Trump's that speech where he said "law and order," and his blood was boiling.
That's what I'm playing in his head.
Yeah. And he said, "You know what? I'm sick of these Negroes."
He may have said the other word.
But
but anyway,
let me take a stand for.
Hey, somebody said, "Where's Carl?"
Yeah,
Carl.
I don't know, man. I hope he's not under arrest.
And I didn't see GKP's comment, but I heard Robert Lee saying, "Speak GKP," and I'm telling you right now, Robert, you off base with that one. whatever you agree with GKP on this base, you off.
Oh boy, see, that's another old show there, guys.
Lord,
man. I can't believe your phone ain't beeping right now.
I know.
Yeah,
we're gonna try to get out of here for a day.
But I gotta say, man, the officer had no reason to pull up and ask the guy for his ID, and even though he did, the guy did give him a lawful answer. No, I'm not showing you. He get to say that at that point. If he didn't break no law, if there was no infraction. When there's an infraction, you are legally detained, and you have to follow the legal request. You have to. But there was no legal detainment there. There was no reason to detain this man in his own yard. After paying to have his yard, after paying taxes to pay the police officer and paying somebody to cut his grass, then you got to be subject to that after paying your mortgage. No, he gets to be tired in his own yard in his own day and not accept that. He gets to be tired then. He didn't cuss the guy out or anything.
Well, that's true, Jet. You know, I agree with you, but at the same time, he don't need to die at the hands of the police officers in his own yard either.
And I agree.
And y'all saying keep letting the officer do you wrong so you can keep living.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, it just don't fly like that. It doesn't fly like that. And now that's your approach. I understand that everybody wants to live. I don't knock that. Yeah. But for the guy who challenges that and dies, I'm not gonna call him a fool either. Because you can't, like Dr. King said, a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. That's just how it is. There can't nobody ride your back unless it's bent.
And Jet, I look at it just like in that way, just like I was saying earlier. There's two different ways to handle it. I'm not necessarily gonna knock one or the other. I'm just saying what my preference would be.
And I get that. I totally understand that. Yeah, I totally understand it. But but at the same time, you're not calling the guy wrong for what he did, and I'm not either. Yeah. And I'm not sure which way. Like I think initially, off instinct, because of the type of citizen I am, I would have shown the guy my ID. Yeah. But I probably would have cursed him out and berated his ass after that, though. Yeah. Right. After I showed it to him and proved him I belonged there, I would have went in on him and probably could have ended up wrong for some other reason. Yeah. Right. So who knows? But
then Jet, your tone of voice and what you're saying after you shown the ID probably would have made the officer felt even more he was being threatened by you, and he'd have called for backup. That would have made another whole situation.
Now, Jet,
and he would have been pissed because he was wrong, and he needs to show himself right. He didn't want to admit he was wrong because he has to go,
which does happen.
And he has the full force of the government backing him, and he doesn't get to be wrong. Right, because it creates a narcissistic behavior, and narcissists don't get to be wrong, right? And so in the end, he has to make himself right, and that's for him to be able to justifiably beat me or kill me or arrest me. Yeah. Then that makes the whole stop right? Because I'm a bad guy at that point. Yeah. I ain't gonna never knock the guy for it. At your home, man, at your house. And like you said, if it was a criminal, then the homeowner would have been happy, but that still don't make it right. Yeah. Don't make it right. Yeah, it still don't make it right. Okay. The homeowner would have just been happy, but that guy would have been, and in fact, in the court of law, whatever charge they charged him on probably wouldn't have stuck because you had to have a reasonable reason to stop somebody or something like that. Yeah. He would have had to get around that to make it all stick, Right. But that doesn't. That's just to stop somebody because they walking around in their yard. I don't care how many times you may be just enjoying your yard. Yeah. Maybe you're trying to look at what you try to find where you want to put your sprinkler systems at. You're mapping it out or whatever. Who knows? It's your house. You pay a lot of money for it, and and also black people quit paying $400,000 to live around people who don't want you there. That's what caused the problem. But that's another show. Right? Yeah. You paid a lot of money for them troubles. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, man.
But, all right, let me let y'all go.
Hey, Jack, we appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, bye.
All right. Hey, that's gonna have to do it for us today. And say hello to our good friend Timothy down in South Carolina. No, Georgia.
No, Georgia, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, did he move?
No. Timothy. I'm talking about my old army.
No. Okay.
He's down he's down in Georgia. His son is a professional boxer.
Yeah, we had him
on the show. Yeah, man, what a fighter he is. Man, I'm telling you. He even talked about getting us tickets to some of his fights down in Georgia.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be great. Hey, folks, anyway, thanks for joining us on the show today. It has been wonderful. And you enjoy your those of you that are not working this weekend, your long holiday weekend, Memorial Day, and also, are you barbecuing ham hocks or ribs?
We can't ask anybody, but y'all can
Anyway.
y'all can leave that comments down there. What y'all gonna eat for Memorial Day or whatever?
Yeah.
Y'all can leave that down.
Hey, Frankie made a big comment on the end there. What did she say?
Let me go through
that last comment that Frankie made. It was a huge comment she had there. Frankie, thanks for your comments. All of you, thanks for all your good comments. Whether you agree or disagree with me, we appreciate your comments.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. Conversation, man. Agreeing and disagreeing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
From
Vote GKP 2020.
to accept, press 1.
What is going on here? GKP, welcome to the show, man. What's going on?
We're trying to leave, man.
We're trying to leave. What's going on?
Well, since every damn body else doing it, I decided to run for mayor.
What?
Okay?
Oh, God, this is ridiculous.
I have just had revelation through this broadcast that has told me the city, this city, needs a GKP fixing. Okay?
Well, we're gonna have another show on that, a silent show. You know, one of those shows that we don't broadcast.
Yeah,
live.
we just don't.
I mean,
don't
you
do
know,
that.
but at any rate, you need
donation. I'll be looking for your donations and your endorsement.
Okay.
Well, you know, there's another.
Well, you're not gonna get any.
There's another guy that's running in the media. So it's going to be an interesting debate between y'all.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about it, I do not debate. I don't need to. My record is proven, man.
Yeah.
I've been doing this over 40 years. Okay.
And you've been
I don't need to sit down with none of y'all.
You've been doing it for over 40 years. And my question is, what have you been doing for 40 years? Just like the rest of the politicians, you've done that.
I help a lot of folks, and don't nobody give me no appreciation in this city. I've been around this city doing things, and everything I try to do, y'all cut me off.
Okay.
You take me off the networks, you do everything you want to do to me. But I'm still standing, okay? And I'm running for mayor.
Hey, look,
okay.
Make sure you got some good shoes as you run.
First of all,
running shoes.
Be careful who you imitating now.
Yeah,
we ain't got nothing to do with it.
The opinions of this guest is not the views and the opinions of.
Hey, Josh, you already know who it is. I walk alone. I feel so bad. So we don't even worry about them problems. You know, I just like kicking it, have a little fun. Trust me.
I know. Yeah.
You what KD tell them announcers? Y'all know
who I am. Yeah.
Y'all know who I am, so I don't even. You know,
and we ain't scared either now.
We ain't scared.
Yeah.
But listen, I really did. I've had this revelation throughout this show, and I want to really be the person that brings everybody together. You know, the Jet Lucases. You know what I'm saying? The Frankies. You know what I'm saying? The Sharons. You know, the Pretty Rickies of the world. The Leon Mapstone. You know what I mean? Yeah. I want us all to be able to walk together, hand in hand, and walk down the streets of Beale Street saying, "Free at last."
Oh, what you?
Free at last.
Get at?
Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Yeah, on Beale Street.
Donations.
Yeah, not on this show. You're not. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call.
Y'all already know who it is.
Yeah. Oh, donations. I declare. Man, this guy is something else.
Everybody wants some money, right?
Yeah, we better get out of here.
Free at last.
Yeah, we better get out. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's gonna do it for us today. Let's quickly get out of here. Yeah. Y'all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, Grizzlies tomorrow. It's tomorrow. I just found out.
Oh God.
It's not tonight. It is tomorrow night, 8:30.
Tomorrow night
on ESPN. FedEx Forum, the Grindhouse. First playoff game in the Grindhouse since 2017. Just over 10,000 fans will be allowed in attendance.
The next two games are going to be at the FedEx Forum.
Yeah, exactly. Games 3 and 4. The game after that will be Monday.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, so I'll check it out.
All right. Hey, have a wonderful weekend and be careful. And we'll talk to you again next time for another edition of Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
If you're watching this video,
shout, counter marching all about, and those caissons go rolling along. For it's high, high here, the field artillery. Count out the numbers loud and strong. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And wherever you go, you will always know that those caissons go rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail and break on day. Through honest night and shore, hail to the morn, until we meet once more. It's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through howling gale and shot and shell to win our victory. Send bird horizons is our guide, our pledge and motto too. We're always ready to or die. I constantly fight for you. Up we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sky. Here they come, soon to lead our thunder. And the boys give it the gun. And we dive, starting a flame from under, up with one terrible roar. We live in faith, we're down in flame, for nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First we fight for right and freedom,